Serious, what are some of the biggest mistakes people can make in their 20s? Not taking advantage of your greatest asset, time. When I was talking with an older friend who was very well off, millionaire, I jokingly said, "I'll trade you my age for your money," and his reply has always stuck with me. He said, "I can do more with your time than you can do with my money." I didn't take it as an insult but as motivation to make the most of my time and not waste it. Well, that's a quote to remember. Living a lifestyle you can't afford. Along with this, not saving money, emergency fund, retirement, etc. Even just a little bit is better than nothing. Saving big chunks like tax returns instead of treating yourself is hella smart. I lived responsibly throughout my 20s while my high school buddy went nuts and racked up almost 300k in bad debt and had to file bankruptcy. He also got to see the world and vacation in places I have only dreamed of. If I could do it all again, I think I would probably go nuts. Just fine coast through life waiting for something to happen. Nobody is gonna walk up to you and hand you a meaning to your life or a fulfilling career. Adding to this, just because you don't know what to do with your life, doesn't mean you should do nothing. Not getting a routine of a healthy lifestyle. When older people say it gets a lot harder when you're older, they mean it, but you can always start treating your body better at any age. Don't throw in the towel because you're older. Don't make excuses, make goals. Exactly this. Even today my wife and I have goals around hiking, backpacking, powerlifting, archery, climbing, etc. We didn't start this until our early 30s and haven't stopped yet. Our goals keep getting a little more brave and it feels awesome. Having children by the wrong person. Having children at all before you're ready emotionally, mentally and financially. Don't waste time being self-conscious. Don't waste time on negative people, relationships, interpersonal dramas. Use this time for personal development. Get good at things you enjoy. Be friends with people who make you happy. Do interesting Literally no one ever has looked back and been pleased that they spent 6 months embroiled in roommate drama. You are not going to, hopefully, be regaling the bar with how that B Cheryl bleached your towels in 6 years. It doesn't effing matter. No one has ever been super jazzed that they nitpicked their own appearance for 7 years and consequently couldn't enjoy themselves because they were pulling at their clothing. I'm not talking about self-improvement. I'm talking about being really unhappy with yourself for the sake of being really unhappy with yourself. Stop doing that. You're fine. If your relationship involves screaming, drunken screaming, the silent treatment, weird subterfuge, or general nastiness, and I could make an endless list of bullshit behavior, leave that relationship. You are going to outgrow friendships. Other people are going to outgrow your friendship. This is normal. It's not an indictment of you as a person. It can be painful. Handle it with grace. And always, think before you react. Always be your own devil's advocate. Think about others. Think about how you sound when dealing with conflict. Being a stable person is partially an acquired skill. Learn it. That friendship part is so dead on. F everything else in this thread. Take care of your teeth. To add to this, go to the effing dentist. You are not Tom Hanks in Castaway all isolated on a desert island. Get a DUI. It will seriously F up your life. Uber and taxis for years are cheaper than one DUI. Or you can kill someone and live with the guilt for your entire life. One of my best friends killed someone in a drunk driving wreck. He had a full ride to college. Now he's in prison for vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. No matter how good you think you are at driving drunk, you are not. Girl I knew since elementary drove drunk, got into an accident and killed a young teenage girl. She's in prison for 10 years. Her entire 20s wasted, including the loss of an innocent young life. Don't do it. Guy I knew was highly intelligent, top achiever in school and extremely likely to have a well-earning career in his field, while also helping others based on the type of work he was entering into. He was just an all-round really nice dude. I don't think anyone would ever have a bad thing to say about him. Some idiot drunk driver stacked into his car at high speed as he was driving back from a party. He survived, but suffered brain injuries. Spent months in rehab relearning how to walk and tie up his shoelaces again. Sadly, his friend who was in the car with him died. He is still a lovely guy, but when you speak to him, there's a vacancy there. His train of thought will lapse mid-conversation and talking to him ends up being like having several mini conversations because his memory and attention span just aren't there anymore. Thankfully he seems happy, but it looks like he'll probably live with his parents for the remainder of his adult life and will never work again due to his cognitive, motivational, and memory deficits. His entire life's trajectory was changed by some a-hole's selfish decision. And even still, he was one of the lucky ones. I find loathe drink drivers. Don't be one. Don't get in the car with one. If someone you know does it, openly tell them how shy they are for it. I've chosen to look uptight rather than join a group of passengers with a drunk behind the wheel. And I'd do it again. Some people even got offended, driver and other passengers, when I said no to getting in the car. The selfishness is unbelievable. I'd rather walk all night to get home than condone that behavior or put myself at risk. Coasting on their potential. It's easy to put off actually doing anything while you're still basking in the glory of being the smart kid at school or university. But then all of a sudden you're 29 and there are celebrities younger than you and you find yourself wondering where to even get started. If you want something, the time to start working towards it is while you're young and hungry. You are young and life is long and there is time to kill today, and then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. That song gets more depressing every year. Falling out of the habit of exercising regularly. It's such an easier habit to maintain than it is to adopt in one's 30s. The solution is finding something you actually like to do. If running on a treadmill at Planet Fitness sounds like the literal manifestation of hell on earth, then maybe go wakeboarding a few times a week or lift weights or ride a bike or do yoga or effing jazzercise. Whatever makes you happy and shows you progress in yourself over time is what you should do for exercise. And for anyone who's a lazy piece of sh like me who doesn't like just about any exercise, find fun things to associate with exercise. I have a favorite show on Netflix I've been meaning to watch, so I only let myself watch that show while exercising. Gets me a good half-hour session of treadmill or elliptical every day. And when you're watching an intense show the time flies. I call in Netflix and Mel. Don't think that there is plenty of time to save for retirement. If it is possible for you to put something away on a regular basis, do it. The best time to start is when you get a job that offers you more pay than what you were getting. Take a percentage of the increase and start savings that right from the beginning. That helps make it such that you never miss it. Exactly what I came to say. 5% of your income in a 401k starting in your 20s is worth as much as 10-15% starting in your 30s. Roughly. It is so easy to set yourself up with a nice nest egg even though it looks like nothing at first. It's amazing how well it builds over time. When starting a new job I have been told put in your max that you could or max out. This gets you used to putting a larger amount in, as the more you put in the better. I mean at the least meet the company match as that's free money wasted. Buying vehicles they can barely afford, not realizing that the really nice cars also usually have really high insurance rates. I saw this happen to some friends in my late teens early 20s. My son is about to graduate HS, and then he's off to basic training with the USAF. He's already talking about getting a brand new sports car by the end of this year. WTF. He's on my insurance right now, and I have to explain to him that my insurance went up by $200 per month just for having him on it, and with a shitty car, too. He has no idea what he's in for, but he won't listen to me, so I think this is just gonna be one of those hard lessons he has to learn for himself. That is easily the most I just graduated basic training stereotype. Get loans. Credit cards that they can't fully pay off. Spend more money than you truly have or make. I did all that. Now I'm punished by my own poor mistakes of trying to spend money with PPL who make way more. I got 2-3 more years and I'm paid off. Same, but I have at least 4 years until my credit card debt is paid off, and that's with throwing as much as I possibly can at the debt each month. Definitely made the mistake of I can afford the minimum payments. I make so much more than I did in grad school. I'll be fine. It's so dumb. Credit card debt can build up so fast if you aren't budgeting and have poor impulse control. People in your 20s don't make my same mistake of not watching your budget once you get your first real job. Continue to live like you are poor, or at least only slightly less poor, for a while, at least until you have a nice amount in savings and have figured out some of your long-term plans. Now in my 30s, I will be paying for the mistakes of my late 20s for a long time and it sucks. Not taking advantage of the freedoms you have now. Most people in their 20s aren't married or have kids. Enjoy it. Travel. Volunteer. Figure out who you are and what kind of person you want to be as you finish growing up. Don't saddle yourself down with a ton of responsibilities now because you will never be this young, this free, this full of energy, and have this many opportunities to grab life by the balls and enjoy yourself again. I have no energy. This has to be the realest comment I've seen all day. Take care of yourself. Your habits now will follow you for a long time. I'm 27 and starting to realize this, so I'm trying to turn things around. Less drinking, more salads, less carbs, etc. Also, don't waste money on stupid If you're about to buy something stupid, just think, will I get annoyed at having this in 2 years? If you're about to buy something stupid, just think. This reminds me of some good words of wisdom from Dwight Schrute. Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing. Not brushing your teeth. When my father passed away, I slept away each night without taking care of myself. I've had so many root canals, removals, and pain because of it, and it only hurts what little self-image I have of myself. When your teeth go, you smile less and hate yourself a little more every day. It just takes so much away from you. Please take care of those chompers. Man, this is one I keep seeing and agreeing with. I started dipping when I was 16. Now I'm older and I brush my teeth 3 times a day and use mouthwash, and my gums still get swollen and still bleed and still hurt sometimes. It's ridiculous. Take care of your mouth. It's not worth it. And I'm still trying to kick the habit. Kids, seriously, we aren't lying when we say this. Not being interesting. Really, it takes time to be interesting. It takes time to grow a personality and an identity that isn't based off the things you like, or worse, the things you hate, or some preconceived labels. People say, go out, live life, have an adventure, and yeah, that's a way to be interesting. But reading books, writing, painting, cultivating a knowledge base either very specific or very broad, those are also ways to be interesting. And what's so important about being interesting? Well, the obvious way is that it's a way to meet people and make them stay. And while you may not need people, it's still nice to have them. But I'd probably say even more important than that is that it gives you a sense of who you are and what you want to do, and thus ways to relate to people. Because you can't be interesting without interests and goals beyond just living to tomorrow and avoiding suffering. Because life isn't just about avoiding suffering, or at least, we all should hope it isn't. And when tragedy inevitably comes, or you find yourself suddenly in a strange new place or alone, in the end, you'll find yourself interesting. Too interesting to give up on. Too interesting to throw away. So you know, do something unique. Dare to disagree. Explore an inclination. Scratch an itch. Because in this cynical world, it's dangerous to just be a collection of likes and dislikes. Easily moved and swayed because you don't have a place. Because you don't have a place you want to be. So be interesting. Thanks. That was inspiring. Saved. Taking your loved ones and your health for granted. Spending too much. It's important to start getting into the habit of saving now. Though if you like to travel, do some traveling now when you're young and in good health. But travel frugally and safely. Being too afraid to take chances, not thinking about what truly matters to you. Temporary instant gratification vs long-term gratification. What you would have wanted to experience, achieve if your life expectancy is cut short. Spending too much, paired with being too afraid to take chances. Forgetting about calling and visiting your parents. Seriously, it may sound weird, but when I was in my 20s I was so happy to be out of the house that I made the mistake of disconnecting with my mom and dad. I wish I would have done more. This, 2 years ago, I was 24. Took it for granted. Great relationship with my parents, just didn't acknowledge it to them or really spend time with them. I got a call that my dad had cancer and they would get it removed. A week later they said it was worse than they thought, and less than 5 days later he was dead. What I would give for like 10 minutes to talk to him. Asked him what his favorite color was. Favorite movie. My dad died over 3 years ago while I was working far from home. Really left me with a lot of regret of should have spent more time, talked more to him. My mother calls me at least 3 times a week. I'm usually in the mood for her, but during a bad day, it doesn't matter how annoyed, fed up with the world or tired I am. I just take a deep breath and let her talk with me for as long as she feels like it. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 30-40 minutes, because I don't want to have the regret of having our last call be a short, bitter one.